presidential debate last night was very unpleasant for me to watch. The president could have done so much more, I believe, and he's disappointed us as far as his performance in the debates. But as far as I'm concerned, it definitely does have... First of all, he was cool and calm. Romney was the aggressor. He was agitated almost. That leads me to believe that he probably did not work well with the Democratic state Senate that he had, or state legislature, simply because of the fact that a businessman like Romney, Palladino, Chris Collins, Scott Walker, if he is a businessman or whatever, most of those kinds of people, they simply do all these cuts, and while they get the place on solid footing, they do so at the expense of programs that are necessary for the people, like daycare programs. Chris Collins he did something where it knocked a lot of people out of daycare subsidies, a lot of working women out of daycare subsidies, and they would have had to walk away from their jobs in order to have their kid, or in order to have the kids looked after or depend on relatives, which is not all that easy, by the way. While they may get the county or the state on solid footing, they don't do so in a way that by way of compromise. They want what they want and they go after it. That's what I saw Romney do today, or do yesterday. He was just attack, but yet he was so vague on his tax policy that it bored me to tears when he talked about taxes. He said he knows how jobs are created, but then again, he creates them all in China. The buttons say made in America, or no, believe in America, but they're made in China. I don't get that part. I will never get that. But President Obama was cool as a cucumber, but you could also tell that he was kind of like getting impatient. And the moderator, Jim Lehrer, is a great host. I think he does a news show or something, or maybe like that Charlie something. I think he does something like that, or NewsHour with Jim Lehrer. And when Romney said that he would cut PBS, I'm like, really? Like, what's PBS ever done to you? He did not command. He did not do his role as moderator. If anything, I would have had an air horn or something like that, because this presidential cycle is definitely polarizing. Romney says, I'm going to cut taxes across the board, but then again, he says it's not a tax cut. Then again, he says five studies back him up as far as it's not going to enlarge the deficit or raise taxes on Americans. But yet, every single nonpartisan study I've ever seen out of the Congressional Budget Office, Tax Policy Center, or Center for Budget Policies and Priorities say differently. To pay for a $250,000 cut for a rich person, the top 0.1%, and then the rest of them get the rest of the 1% get a $60,000 tax cut. It'll have to raise taxes on the middle class, and he claims that it does not. I'd like to see those 5 studies that prove them wrong or prove them right, so that we can see if they're partisan or not. President Obama should have attacked a bit more on his flip-flopping, on him constantly being a very expedient candidate. Okay, that's one thing. On him repealing Obamacare when it's his brainchild, and what is this? Why the sudden flip? There were so many things that he could have walked in with, and on the policies, on the tax part, he could have easily said, well, if you're talking about taxes, while you're on that, why won't you release your tax returns? That would have been a great segue into that. President Obama, disappointed, bombed in this one as far as I'm concerned. But he has had his back to the wall before, and he's always come back. I believe that he will do it in the next debate with Romney. I do believe that will definitely happen this time around. But Romney, I think that the president kind of surveyed what was going on and what he was walking into. He knows a little bit about that. But Romney showed a little more fervor now. So what President Obama has to do is lick his wounds and then go back into the ring. Because America needs its president right now. We don't need a new president. Our president needs another Congress. A Congress that will work with him, which he should have said that a Congress needs to work with me. And when Romney talked about Reagan and Tip O'Neill, the first thing that should have came out of his mouth was, well, at least Tip O'Neill was willing to work with Reagan. The Senate Majority Leader and the House Leader will not work with me. How can I be held accountable for job losses when it is the fault of Congress not passing my jobs bills? That would have stopped Romney right in his tracks. If anything, the fact is, President Obama, in asking a question like that, one, acknowledges that it's tough, and two, he needs Congress. So America needs you, President Obama. You got to get your shit together. Sounds rough, but that's what's going to have to happen, because America we need you. We need you right now, and we need a Congress that will work with you.